In this question, there is a system in which there is a block MA whose mass is 3 kg. This is 3 kg, and this block is being released from this point P, which is at a height of h. H is equal to 6 meters. You can see that. So this block is released from this point and it starts to slide, and this is a wedge which is at permanent rest. It cannot move, but when this block comes on this cart of mass mc, then it suffers some friction and it faces some friction on this cart, and hence when this block will leave the contact of the wedge and it will move over the cart, then after some time it would stop over the cart after moving a distance x on the cart. So we need to find out this distance x on the cart, after moving which this block will come to a rest with respect to this cart. And also there is no friction on this wedge till this point. So after this point, this block will move on this cart and the cart surface is rough. So we need to find out this distance x. We have been given with the coefficient of friction of this cart, which is equal to 2/5. Now first of all, we need to find out the velocity of this block at this point. So let's suppose the velocity of this block at this point is u. So for calculating this u, we can directly use energy conservation, and therefore half mu square will be equal to mgh. Now in further these kind of numericals, I would be using this direct relationship as under root 2gh. Okay, so this is u. Now u can be calculated by substituting the values as 2 into 10 into h is 6. So this is u is equal to under root of 120. This is the value of initial velocity of this block. Now when this block moves over the cart, then after some time, for some time this block will slide on the cart with the greater velocity, but a time will come when this block and this cart will be moving with same velocity v, and at this time the block will be at rest with respect to the cart, but they will be moving with a common velocity. So this common velocity can be calculated by equating the momentum, and therefore the initial momentum of this system of cart and the block is the momentum of the block, which is ma into u, and the final momentum of this system is ma plus mc into v. So we can say that the net force acting on this system is 0, because any friction which is acting between this cart and this block is the internal force of the system, and internal force does not changes the momentum of the system. Therefore if there is no external force acting on this system, we can conserve the momentum. So ma into u, which is ma into u is equal to ma plus mc into v, and therefore v will be equal to mau upon ma plus mc. So v will be equal to m is 3 into u upon ma plus mc, which is 5. So v will be equal to 3u by 5. This is the value of v. Now we know that when this block will be sliding on this cart, then some energy would be dissipated in work done against friction, and therefore initial kinetic energy of the system was the kinetic energy of the block, which is half ma into u square, and the final kinetic energy of the system is half ma plus mc into v square. So obviously there would be some loss of kinetic energy because there is some work which is being done against friction. Therefore we are assuming that the loss of kinetic energy will be equal to K initial minus K final, assuming that there would be some loss, and therefore the loss of kinetic energy will be half ma, which is equal to 3, and u square is 120, and the minus this is half into 5 into v square. Okay, so this loss of kinetic energy will be equal to, this is 180 minus, and v square is half into 5 into 9 u square by 25, because v is equal to 3u by 5. So K loss will be equal to 180 minus, this is 9 by 10 u square, and u square is 120. So K loss is equal to 180 minus 108. Now therefore the loss in kinetic energy will be equal to 72 joules, and this kinetic energy loss would be utilized in the work done against friction. So this work done against friction is equal to 72, and it is mu magx. This is the work done against friction. So 72 is equal to mu, which is given as 2 by 5, ma is I think 3, and g is 10, and this is x. So this is 2. So x is equal to 72 upon 12, and 72 upon 12 is I think 6. So x is equal to 6. So this is we have to find out the distance x, and yes, we have to find out this x. So x is equal to 6. This is the final answer. Now let's move on the next question. In this question there is a bullet which is fired horizontally with a speed of 400 meters per second, and this bullet strikes this wooden block which is initially at rest, and it is placed on a horizontal rough floor. Now this bullet emerges out from the block with the speed of 200 meters per second, and after the immersion of bullet, this block slides by a distance of 20 centimeters before coming to rest. Now we have to find out the coefficient of friction between block and the ground. The mass of bullet given is 400 grams and the mass of block is 5 kg. So in this question we can see that initially when this block and bullet this bullet is coming towards the block and the block is at rest, so at this time, at this point of time, the net force acting on this system is 0. So we are assuming that just after the bullet emerges, the block will start to move. So the friction will start to act on this block just after it starts to move. Before the movement, when this block will start to move, the net force acting on this system is 0. Therefore we can conserve the momentum, and therefore the initial momentum of this system is the momentum of the bullet, and the bullet is having a mass of 20 grams, so that would be equal to 0.02. So this is 20 grams and it is being multiplied with 400, which is the velocity of the bullet. So this is equal to 8, and the unit of the momentum is Newton into second. Now when this bullet will emerge out from the block, so let's suppose the block starts to move with the velocity of v2 and bullet is moving with the velocity of v1. v1 is already given to us as it is equal to 200 meters per second, and okay, I'll put the value afterwards. So the final momentum of the system would be 5v2 plus 0.02 v1. Now again final momentum is 5v2 plus 0.02 v1 is equal to 200. So this is P final is equal to 5v2 plus this is equal to 4, and initial momentum was already 8. So P final is equal to P initial, and 5v2 plus 4 is equal to 8. So 5v2 is equal to 4. Now v2 is equal to 4 upon 5. This is the velocity v2 of the block. Now it is also given that block moves by a distance of 20 centimeter before coming to the rest. So at this point of time the kinetic energy of the block is equal to half mv square. Now the value of kinetic energy of the block will be half. The mass of the block is 5 kg and the velocity is 16 by 25. So this is equal to kinetic energy of the block is equal to 8 by 5 joules. Okay, now the block will be facing the friction, and hence some loss of energy will be occurring in the work done against friction, and when the block will come to complete rest, then at that point of time the complete kinetic energy of the block will be lost in form of work done against friction, or we can say the heat generated. So work done against friction, which is also the heat generated, will be mu mg into distance moved, which is 20 centimeter. So mu into m, which is 5, g, which is 10, and the distance is 20 centimeter. So in meter we can write it as 0.2, and this is equal to the kinetic energy, because the complete kinetic energy will be converted into heat loss. So this is equal to mu will be equal to 8 upon this is I think 50, and therefore the mu can be compared with lambda upon 50. So lambda would be equal to 8. We have to compare the mu with this one. So again in this question we have used two concepts. One concept is of momentum conservation, which can be done only if the net force acting on the system is 0, which is the case in this question, and the other equation is being obtained by the law of conservation of energy. Now let's move on the next question. In this question there is a small ring of mass m, which is 1 by 2 kg, and this ring is attached with a string of length L, and the other end of this string is attached to a block of mass 2m. Now we set this block free from this position to move, and we have to find out the tension in this string when this block and ring comes in a vertical line. Okay, So first of all, we can see that on this system the external force acting in x-axis Fx is 0. So we can say that the momentum of this system is conserved in x-axis. So P initial is equal to P final, but only in x-axis. Now initial momentum, as we all know, is 0 because ring and block are at rest, and finally when we will release this block, and I'll draw the diagram. Finally the situation would be like that here would be the ring and this would be the block. So we suppose that ring is moving with the velocity of v1 and the block is moving in the backward direction with the velocity of v2. The block will not move in the y direction because this string will not allow the block at this moment to move in the y direction, because this string is taunted and there is some tension in the string. So this tension will not allow the block to move downwards. So the only velocity which this block will have would be the velocity in x-axis, or and the ring will be moving in the forward direction with velocity v1. So the final momentum P final would be m v1 minus 2m v2. Okay, so if we equate these two momentums, then 2m v2 will be equal to m v1, and therefore v1 is equal to 2v2. This is the first equation. Now we all know that the second equation is always obtained from energy conservation, and the work done by mg on this system will be 2mgl, due to the fact that this ring has not moved in the y direction. So there is no work done by mg on this ring, but this block has moved down by a distance of L. You can see that. So the work done by the gravity is on the block of mass 2m, and that work done is equal to 2mgl. So this work done by mg will be equal to the change in kinetic energy of the system, and the work done by mg will be 2mgl, and the kinetic energy of the system initially was 0, and finally it is half m v1 square plus half 2m v2 square. So cancelling this m with m, so 2gl is equal to v1 square by 2 plus v2 square. Okay, now we know from the first equation that v1 is equal to 2v2, so we can substitute these values in equation 2. So 2gl is equal to we are substituting the value of v1, so it is 4 v2 square upon 2 plus v2 square. So this is 3 v2 square is equal to 2gl, and v2 is equal to 2gl by 3 under root. Okay, now this is the value of v2, and to obtain v1 we can see that v1 is equal to 2v2. So this is 2 under root of 2gl by 3. This is the value of v1. Now when we wish to calculate the tension in the rope, then we need to analyze that when this system will be in vertical direction like that, this is 2m and it is moving in the backward direction with v2, and this ring is moving in the forward direction with v1. So to calculate this tension, we assume that this block is in the state of circular motion about this ring. So we are assuming this ring as center. So if this ring is if this ring is the center of the circle, then we must stop this ring and we must calculate the relative velocity of the block with respect to ring. So V relative of the block with respect to ring is equal to V2 plus V1 because they are in opposite directions. So V1 is already equal to 2V2. So V relative is equal to 3V2. We have substituted the value of V1, which is equal to 2V2. So V relative is equal to 3V2. Now when we have calculated the relative velocity, then it means that we have assumed this ring as center and we have stopped it, and only this block of mass 2m is moving with velocity v relative about that ring and rotating about it. So the tension will be calculated by this diagram. This ring is now at rest because this is now relative diagram, and this block is moving in the backward direction with v relative, and the tension in the rope is T, and this length is L. So if this is rotating with some with velocity v relative, then a centrifugal force of 2m, or I can write directly that it is Fc, which is centrifugal force. So this tension would be balancing 2mg as well as this centrifugal force, and therefore this tension would be equal to 2mg plus 2m v relative whole square by L. So T is equal to 2mg plus 2m by L, and we know that v relative is 3v2, so its square would be 9v2 square, and the value of v2 is equal to 2gl by 3. So this T will be equal to 2mg plus 2m by L into 9 into the value of v2 is 2gl by 3, so v2 square will be 2gl by 3. So this is T is equal to 2mg plus this is 4 into 3, which is equal to 12. This is 12 mg, and T is equal to 14 mg. Now the value of m is equal to half, so it is 7 into g, because m is equal to half and it is equal to 70. So the tension in the string at this point will be equal to 70 Newton. This is the final answer. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, you can see that there is a bigger sphere, this one, whose radius is 6r and whose mass is 4m. The coordinates of the center of this bigger sphere is L, 0. Now there is a small sphere which is kept inside this bigger sphere in such a way such that this small sphere is touching this bigger sphere at this point. The mass of this smaller sphere is m and its radius is r. Now we will release this smaller sphere, and then we have to find out the coordinates of the center of this bigger sphere when this smaller sphere will reach the other extreme of the bigger sphere. Now let us draw the diagram of the bigger sphere when the smaller sphere will reach its other extreme. So this is the scenario when this smaller sphere will reach the other extreme, And let's suppose that bigger sphere xb is the distance moved by bigger sphere in the front direction, and xs is the distance moved by the smaller sphere in the backward direction. So we can say, by balancing the mass movement, that the sum of the mass movement of both these spheres would be 0. We have already discussed the things about mass movement. Therefore m is the mass of smaller sphere, and m into xs will be equal to 4m into xb. This is the equation of mass movement, and therefore we can say that xs will be equal to 4xb. This is the first relation. Now we know that initially the center of the smaller sphere was at this point, and finally the center of the smaller sphere is at this point. So from this point to this point, the distance moved with respect to the bigger sphere is this is r, and this is r. Therefore this distance s would be equal to 10r, because this complete distance is equal to 12r, and therefore this remaining distance s is equal to 10r. So we know that the relative distance x relative is equal to xs plus xb, due to the fact that the smaller sphere is moving in the backward direction and the bigger sphere is moving in the forward direction. So x relative is equal to 4xb. I am substituting this value in this equation, plus xb, and this is equal to 10r. So 5xb is equal to 10r, and xb is equal to 2r. So this is the value of xb, which is the distance moved by the bigger sphere in front direction. So the coordinates of the center of this bigger sphere, the new coordinates, would be the initial coordinate plus 2r. So the correct option will be option number B, because the initial coordinates were l, 0. So we are adding 2r in x coordinate. So the new coordinate would be l plus 2r, 0, because y coordinate will still remain 0. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there is a cylinder of radius small r and mass m, which is kept on this point of this semicircular track. Now this semicircular track is a part of this big wedge of mass capital M. Now we have released this cylinder from this point, and we have to find out the distance moved by the cylinder when it will reach. We have to find out the distance moved by this wedge when the cylinder will reach this point B. So first of all, let us see that when this cylinder will reach this point, then the distance by which this center of the cylinder is displaced is r minus r. You can see that initially the center of the cylinder was located at this point, and finally this center is located at this point. So the displacement of the center of the cylinder is r minus r. So this is the first important thing. Now the cylinder is moving in the front direction and this wedge is moving in the reverse direction. So let us assume that the displacement of cylinder with respect to ground is x1 and the displacement of wedge with respect to ground is x2. So balancing the mass moment, we can write that mx1 minus capital M x2 will be equal to 0, and therefore mx1 is equal to capital M x2. This is the first equation. As well as we can say that the relative displacement of a ball with respect to cylinder is r minus r, because ball is displaced with respect to cylinder by a distance of r minus r in x-axis. So the relative displacement of ball with respect to cylinder is x1 minus of minus x2, because x2 is in reverse direction. So x relative is equal to x1 plus x2, and this relative displacement is r minus r. So x1 plus x2 will be equal to r minus r, and we can if we have to find out the distance moved by the block, which is x2, so we can replace x1. So x1 from this equation is equal to mx2 upon m. So capital M x2 upon small m plus x2 is equal to r minus r and x2 is equal to m into r minus r upon m plus m. This is x2. So the correct answer is option number B. Now in the other question, we have to find out the velocity of the block when the cylinder will reach at the lowest point. Now for that we can say that when this block, when this cylinder has reached this point, then let's suppose the velocity of this cylinder is v1 and the velocity of this block is v2 in the backward direction. So again we can balance the momentum due to the fact that net external force on the system is 0. The system I am referring to this one. Okay, so mv1 will be equal to mv2, and initial momentum was 0, so final momentum is mv1 minus mv2, and I have equated that momentum to 0. So small m v1 is equal to capital M v2. So this is the first equation, and the second equation is obtained by equating the energy. So the work done by mg on this system when the ball is moving in the downward direction will be mg and the distance traveled by the center of the ball. Now this distance which is traveled by the center of the ball is r minus r, because initially the center of the ball was at this level. So this is r minus r. This is the work done by mg, and this work done is converted into the kinetic energy of the system. So kinetic energy is half m v1 square plus half capital M v2 square. So mg r minus r is equal to half and we have to find out the velocity of the block. So we are replacing v1. So half is common, m. The value of v1 in terms of v2 is capital M v2. In fact, I'll write this below, that mg r minus r is equal to half m. The value of v1 is m v2 upon m whole square plus half m v2 square. So this is mg 2mg r minus r is equal to m square v2 square by m plus m v2 square. So taking common V2 square, so V2 square is equal to this is 2m square g r minus r upon m square plus mm, and V2 is equal to root of 2m square g into r minus r upon m square plus mm. So let us check the correct answer. So it is small m is coming outside, and in the denominator it is capital M square plus mm. So the correct answer will be option number C. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that there is a shell which is fired from a cannon with some velocity v at an angle of theta with the horizontal, like that. Let us draw the diagram. So this is a shell which is fired with velocity v, and this angle is theta. So at the highest point of its trajectory, at this point, this shell explodes into two pieces of equal masses, and one of the piece comes to rest, and we have to find out the speed of the other piece. So let's suppose that the mass of this shell is 2m, and at this point this shell explodes into two masses of equal masses, and the velocity of this shell at the highest point will be v cos theta. This we all know, and after explosion the momentum, the net force acting on this shell in x-axis is 0. Okay, so we can balance the momentum in x-axis. So the initial momentum in x-axis was 2m into v cos theta, and the final momentum is m v dash minus 0, because one of the shell comes to rest. And if we equate, then we can say that P initial is equal to P final. So 2m v cos theta is equal to mv dash, and v dash is therefore equal to 2v cos theta. So this v dash is the velocity of the other part which is moving just after the explosion. So the correct answer will be option number B. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, there is a system of a wedge of mass m and a block of mass small m. This wedge is in the form of a quarter circle of radius r, and there is no friction present anywhere. So we have to find out the velocity of the cube when it will leave the wedge from this position. So we have to find out this velocity. So let's suppose this velocity of the cube is v1, and the velocity of the wedge would be in the backward direction, and it is equal to v2. And also the net external force acting on this system in x-axis is 0. So we can balance the momentum, and the initial momentum of the system in x-axis was 0, because neither this block nor this wedge was moving, and the final momentum of the system in x-axis will be mv1, which is the momentum of the block in forward direction, minus capital M v2, which is the momentum of this wedge in reverse direction. So initial momentum and the final momentum would be equal, and therefore mv1 will be equal to capital M v2. Now this is the first equation. Now we will find out the next equation by energy conservation. We know that when this block will move from this position to this position. The net displacement in downward direction is r. So the work done by mg is equal to mgr, and this work done is being utilized in kinetic energy of the block and wedge, which is half m v1 square plus half m v2 square. Okay, so we have to find out the velocity of cube and we have to find out v1. Therefore we can replace v2. So mgr is equal to half, this is m v1 square plus capital M v2 square. V2 square will be m square v1 square by m square, cancelling out this m with m. So by taking this mgr is equal to 1 by 2 m, and this is v1. In fact v1 square is also common, and this is 1 plus m upon m. Okay, cancelling out this, v1 will be equal to 2g r m upon m plus m whole root. This is the final answer of the velocity of block when it will leave the wedge. Thank you. In this question, there is a truck of mass capital M which is standing on a frictionless road, and there is a monkey of mass small m which is standing on the truck. So this monkey starts to move in the forward direction, and due to which this truck recoils back with the velocity of v. So we have to find out the velocity of monkey with respect to truck. Now the first thing which is important, that the net force acting on this system is 0, external force, and the velocity of monkey, we assume that its velocity is vm with respect to ground. So we can balance the momentum, and hence initial momentum was 0 because initially no one was moving, and the final momentum is m vm of the monkey minus capital M v of the truck. So if we equate the initial and the final momentum, then we can write that mvm is equal to mv. Okay, so the velocity of the monkey is equal to mv by m, but we have to find out the velocity of monkey with respect to truck. So velocity of monkey with respect to truck is vm minus v truck. So vmt is equal to vm minus, the truck is moving in the backward direction, so it is minus v. So this is vm plus v, and vm is equal to mv upon m plus v. So v is common, m plus m by m. This is the velocity of monkey with respect to truck. Now let's move on the next question. In this question, it is given that there is a trolley which has a boy who is standing on the trolley, and the total mass of the trolley and the boy is 200 kg. Now this system is moving with the initial velocity of 36 kilometers per hour, which is 10 meters per second, and this system is moving on a frictionless track. Now the mass of this child is 20 kg, and he starts to run on this trolley from its left hand towards right hand, and the distance between left hand and right hand is 10 meters, which is also the length of the trolley. Now the speed of the child with respect to the trolley is 10 meters per second, and he jumps out of the trolley with this same relative velocity. Now we have to find out the final speed of the trolley and how much distance by which the trolley has moved in the time when the child begins to run, and till the time when he just jumps out of the trolley. Okay, so initially I have drawn the diagram that child is standing on this left hand, and the length of the trolley is 10 meters. The system is moving with 36 into 5 by 18, which is 10 meters per second. You must know that how you can convert kilometer per hour into meters per second. So the initial momentum of this system is mv, and mass of the system is 200 and velocity is 10. So the initial momentum of the system is 2000 Newton seconds. Okay, and the final momentum, I'm supposing that the velocity of the child with respect to ground is v1 and the velocity of the cart with respect to ground is v2 at the time when the child started to run with respect to trolley, or at the time when he jumped out of the trolley. So the final momentum P final will be 20 v1. It is the momentum of the kid, plus 180 v2, and 180 v2 is the momentum of the trolley. So equating the initial momentum to the final momentum, because the net force acting on this system is 0, therefore we can say that 2000 is equal to 20 v1 plus 180 v2. Okay, so v1 plus 9 v2 is equal to 100, and this is the first equation. Now the second equation will be coming through the fact that the relative speed of the boy with respect to trolley is 10, which is given in the question itself, and therefore the relative speed will be v relative will be v1 minus v2. Hence 10 is equal to v1 minus v2. So we can replace the v1, and this is the second equation. So replacing v1 from second equation into first equation, then v1 is equal to 10 plus v2. So 10 plus v2 plus 9 v2 is equal to 100, and 10 v2 is equal to 90. v2 is equal to 9, and v1 will be equal to 19. So this is the these are the values of v1 and v2. So the final speed of the trolley is 9 meters per second. Now we have to find out that distance by which trolley has been displaced in the time when child moves from its left hand to the right hand. For that, let us see that the time taken by the boy to move from left hand to the right hand will be the distance, which is 10 meters, upon the v relative. Now v relative is also 10, so 10 upon 10 is 1 second. So he'll be taking 1 second to move from left hand to the right hand. Now in the same time, the trolley is moving with the velocity v2, which is 9 meters per second. Therefore in the same time, the distance moved by a trolley will be 9 into 1, which is equal to 9 meters. So this is the distance which is moved by the trolley in the time in which the boy will move from left hand to the right hand. Okay, thank you.